It's time to explore some of the very useful text functions that you get with Excel. Ordinarily, you'd be used to using Excel for number crunching, but it has some fantastic text manipulation functions that will allow us to edit, move, chop, join together, and pretty much tidy up text as we go. The first little patch of functions we're going to look at are ones for extracting part of cell contents. And these are left, right, and mid. And with them, I'm going to introduce len as well, that will tell us how long a string is, which will help when you're trying to extract part of it. For the purpose of demonstration, we're going to use the employees workbook. So let's firstly insert a number of columns at the beginning here that we can use. And we'll have left as a column heading, right as a column heading, mid as a column heading, and len as a column heading. Now the left function works by extracting a number of characters from the left-hand side of a given string. So we say equals left, open brackets. That's when we see our parameters. Text is the text string that we wish to extract a number of characters from. So if we were to pick on the first name column, for example, then the number of characters, or numchars, is actually optional. If we don't put a value, so if I just close the left function, then what will happen is it will extract the first letter. And then we see W. And we can replicate that down to see that it works relatively just like all the other Excel functions. So we see the first letter of everybody's first name going down the list. Now if I wanted to go back in and actually add in a number of characters, so I'll put comma, the number of characters is how many characters from the left hand side, where the first character is 1, do you want to extract? So I maybe wish to extract the first 4. Return, I'll get wend, and if I replicate, I then get the first 4 characters of each string in the first name column. So that's the left function. Now the right function, logically, extracts a number of characters from the right hand side of a string. Now it does a very similar thing in that the number of characters is optional. So if I were to pick on the surname and leave that optional value empty, so I'm just saying right of I2, when I press return, I get the R, which is the last letter of the surname. And if I replicate, I see the last letter of everybody's surname. Going back in, I can add in a value to that right parameter, which is the number of characters. So let's pull out the last 3 characters. So cur and replicate, and I get everybody's last 3 letters of their surname. So we have the ability there to take a number of characters from the left-hand side and a number of characters from the right-hand side of a text string. Now each of those values for the number of characters can be driven by another cell. They don't have to be typed in. Now the mid, well, works in a similar way, except it will allow us to take a bit of the string out of the middle, hence its name, mid. So I need to tell it which cell to work on. So let's work on the street this time. Then comma. Now this time the number of characters that you're looking for is not optional, it's required. Firstly, we have to give a start num. So that's which character within the string do you want to start at. And the first character in the string is 1, the second is 2, the third is 3. If I wanted to start at the 4th character, I would put a 4, comma. Then I have to tell it how many characters I would like. So it's going to start at character 4, but then I have to give it a number to say, okay, the 4th one's going to be the first, but then how many do you actually want? Well, let's take 5. So I'm going to start at the 4th character and take 5 characters. So when I press return, I get ting off of wanting road. So let's go into there and find out where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the T, and then I want 5 characters. So the T is the first, I second, N third, G fourth, 5th is a space. So although we can't see there's a space at the end of that string, there is because it's actually extracted it. Now the same would happen if we then replicated. Each of these would extract from the street name, starting at the 4th character and extracting the next 5. So that would include the 4th one and then 4 more. Again, just like left and right, the values for the 4 and the 5 in this case can be driven by another function or by a cell. So we're not having to work out where we want to start from and go to. We can do that dynamically with other functions. Now the last of these very useful text functions, which will help us when trying to calculate, is len. Equals len, open brackets, takes one parameter, which is the text string, Well, let's pick on the town, return, and it just tells you how many characters there are in that cell. So there are 6 in this town. Replicate down and we see 19 in Newcastle upon Tyne. Don't forget that a space is a character, so if any of these contain spaces, that will be one of your len values. So each of these are numbers representing the number of characters in the particular cell we've referenced. That's 4 very useful text extraction strings. Well, 3 text extraction ones and 1 to determine the length of a string. Now we'll see them in action a bit more shortly, and we'll see them with dynamic values for their numeric parameters. So where to start from or how many characters to take.